took this trade. It's not quite 4 o'clock yet, but it did come back to 145, as mentioned this morning, for a buy. I sent it out and haven't been responded yet to the office, but I'll discuss that after 4 o'clock. Thank you for pointing that out, Mark. I'll just go through it more. Just now at 4 o'clock. But anyway, I did post it on the trading WhatsApp group for the office to look at it and send out. They haven't replied yet, so usually say give me the figures, and I'll go the 0.01 risk, whatever, you know, the normal story. Haven't received it yet, but 145 was the entry. But anyone on their own back actually looked at that. It might not come back, I don't know. But 145 was the area we're looking at to get in, and obviously a bit higher than that at the moment. Goedemiddag to you as well. I'll tell you something, there's no excuses if you're not bilingual, but at least I can try and pronounce it right. I knew one guy been here as long as I've had, and he used to say Afrikaans. It used to annoy me, actually. If you can't speak, at least try and pronounce it right. Well, I have to say, it's all very well. If you've got a click sound, I'll battle. Spoke to the client today and gave her a bit of a laugh trying to pronounce the click sound. She said, you better take some cough mixture, mate. Anyway, so everyone took it, but the 145, but yeah. This wasn't exactly a trade of the century, was it? Yeah, maybe if I had to stop at 50 instead of 60, you might still be in it. Not be successful, but yeah. Well, it seemed like a good idea at the time, yeah. Just wait for form, and not a lot of people joined yet. We might have to repeat it again because believe me, it's ridiculous having a 4-hour late signal. In this case, probably a favour, it turns out, but that's not the idea. The idea is when it's good or bad is to get it out, you know, approximately within the time it comes off the press, not by the time the ship sailed, or thank goodness it sailed in this case. Hey,
Roger.
Yeah.
I thought I was the only one that haven't received the signal on my mailbox.
Nee, dit is right. Nee, het nou sein. Kom ons praat. Dit nooit sein. Nou ja. Nou ja, kom ons praat oor dit sein.
I can't hear. It's all in the background.
Yeah.
If you're not interacting, please, you know, mute. Can't hear what Anna Marie's saying.
No.
If you mute, if you're not muting.
No, okay.
Mute yourself. No.
Sy is happy. Ek sal net môre vir Jenny.
I've just muted, guys. Please mute if not verbally. Sorry about that, Anne-Marie. I'll switch it back on just now. Don't know where it's coming from, but I just couldn't hear myself think with that racket. And I obviously couldn't hear you. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I'll move them with it, maybe finish their argument, whatever it happens to be. But yeah, please, guys, try and keep it on mute unless you're interacting, because it's very, 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 well, irritating. Can't be a more polite word. It's frigging irritating. And somebody wanted to interact there, something to do with the trading room, and we couldn't hear ourselves think. It's yeah, do it. Okay. Give it another moment too before I mute. Okay. Yeah, thanks very much. That's exactly what I wanted. Mark, you're here. You're right on point there. You took the trouble to WhatsApp me. And this was literally, when you got it, it was 4 hours later after this. You know, that's just it's ridiculous. So I went back to head office and I said, what's going on here? And they see what we have. It's a WhatsApp group. Now, not the WhatsApp group we have. You pay these guys as a company who uses things like filters and elements, more sophisticated, which have been paid for by QuickTrade. And the idea is they come and filter it, and then it's supposed to be sent out. But now they're saying you have this template and that template, do it. And then, all right, we can do the template. I mean, the guys in the office are more your standard at tech than I am. Trust me, Mark, so you have to worry about that. There's nothing wrong with their tech ability. So the hold up is this: they get it out, and then they take the time to look at the template. They can't see other stuff to do. That's not the point. They either give that service or not. And then they are supposed to then accept that kind of template and then push it out. And I got a feedback from Jark earlier on that H, as we call him, Harris, is busy on with them because this is ridiculous. What's the point of having a VIP group? You're going to get signals 4 hours later. I've got an idea, guys. Let's trade with a 4-hour delay on prices. How do you fancy that? That's a good idea, isn't it? You get my point. So, oh, have they? Okay, that's great. But I don't know if that was some problem elsewhere. I'm not sure. But remember Clinton and Jark. I'm going to be quite honest with you guys here. They're streets ahead of me when it comes to the tech stuff, and that's why I do more of this, and they understand that, and they leave Clinton to handle some of the tech stuff. Plus, he knows Apple. He uses Apple, and he's that way inclined. You know what I mean? He knows his stuff. Like, you wouldn't come to me if you've got a tech problem. I want to commission this, Mark. I would send you to Mark. You know what I mean? That's what he does. Okay, so it's just one of those things. I mean, I can operate this and do that, but I'm not. Just one of those things. I mean, older people usually, I mean, it's not all, but often a little bit slower when it comes to tech. Okay, so that's the bottom line. But what I'm saying is, if this template you've got to be issued, then they've got to respond and get it out. It makes the whole thing a little bit, you know, it's got to be sorted. Basically, how to put it, common sense is obvious. No good. You can't have a delayed 4 hours. That's ridiculous. Shouldn't have to be spelled out. It's so utterly obvious, you know. Sometimes you get lucky, some get a better price. But if the signal's supposed to be okay, which is the general idea, you're going to be missing the boat. So what's the bloody point? So I can't send it out. I can send the banner out. That's easy. I can do that, but I can't give the details because I can't spend every single day checking and taking on and off people who slip below the cap. I mean, Joe Soap's got 20 grand, doesn't matter. They ain't going to do something ridiculous. But the guys who put in 2.5, 2.6, then they can go easily below 2.5. And I've got to check each one. I'll be here till midnight checking it. I'm never getting done. So that was the idea, is to be an automatic Excel spreadsheet filter. The guys who got above that, if they drop, they won't get it. If they do, they will. And then it's obviously sent direct to them. Yes, that's fine, all good. But the problem is it's too late. So hope that God they get that sorted out. Because as I say, it's extremely frustrating on my part. I personally would like just to have a quick trade group filtered out that immediately I press a button, it's automatically filtered, and fresh off the press, I post it all myself. Have done. Not putting out of here, there, everywhere. Have done. I'm regulated to do it instead of jump through all these hoops, which that's the trouble in life today in the world. Bloated bureaucracy is sucking out of the taxpayer the creation of people trying to create wealth, and you know what I mean. It's we'll get carried away, and it's a bloated bureaucracy being paid by the taxpayer to get in your sodding way to make money, which they need to pay you in the first place. And it's not a South African thing; it's a worldwide thing. That's really, really frustrating. I know we have breaks. We can't have scallywags running around saying they're experts in something they're clearly not. I understand that, but it's get the stage where it's a hindrance rather than a help. And we'll try and get something on it. Okay, it's everywhere. I think it's bad here. You try to help Safety UK. It's beyond the laugh now. It's so ridiculous. I always go back to the old cliche Greece. You did better to be in a bureaucrat than the free enterprise in the private sector. But the private sector creates the wealth to pay the sodding bureaucrat, not the other way around. And clearly what happened there, it went down the plug. Don't give you socialist or whatever, it's just basic economic common sense. And yeah, you probably, I'm slightly frustrated. And I thank goodness Mark did that trouble there. So I got on to immediately because I thought I could probably handle half an hour, push it to an hour, preferably about 15, 20 minutes actually. But 4 hours is just it's not obviously not going to work. And some guys have actually upped their ante to be a member to get the privilege and benefits of being a member. Well, so yeah, I hear you, but they're on it. Remember, not our side. We're not stupid. I don't think they are either. It's just, again, I think it's just bloated bureaucracy, red tape. Get it passed from one guy to another. They don't put their head on the block. They don't want to make a decision. They pass someone else or somebody that wants find who can make a decision. By that time, the sodding ship sailed. You know what I mean? It's. I tell you what, you know, I don't ever been to corporate do things like that. You know what it is when you get to the top in the corporate world now? It's all about the right thing to say, how you hold your knife and fork, the ability of the cocktail party, your verbal ability. The least skill you require is getting any sodding done. That's why often small businesses are better because the boss can make a decision. They haven't got too many people protecting their ass and covering their ass, and that's where the frustration comes in. It's all about corporate life. Is all about CYA, covering your ass, and it's I gather rather frustrated on it because it's anyway. Okay, anyway, CAD JPY, it seems to be recovering, but most of you guys are stopped out. It's always in hindsight, you put the stop, and I thought the time was a correct stop. It seems to just stopped us out. It got just below the stop at 55, 56, something like that. And our stop was at 60, and some guys are out. I think some guys are still in, because I look, there's still quite a few open positions there. Didn't check who they were, I just saw there were quite a few open positions. So some guys either train out a stop or a wider stop, or well, I don't know what. But as it turns out, your stop was at 50 instead of 60, you'll still be in. Whether it's the right thing to do at this stage, I don't know. But it might still not recover. Anyway, it's a pity about that. But we did what we did. We all agreed on it. I didn't thumb suck it. You were here this morning, and it seemed like a good idea, and we agreed on it. And obviously, it decided to go and stop everything out, and now it's bouncing up again. Still quite like it, but I wouldn't say start joining again now. Okay. This one I did like, but I don't know if anyone took it, because you've got to remember, it might not be the trade room, it's happening after the trade room. So I said 145, take it. I don't know if actually anybody did. It's like the GBP USD one the other day, or one of them, I can't remember. It sometimes happens after trading room, you keep an eye on it and grab it as such. Did anybody grab it, the 145 as suggested, the pending order pullback? No. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so still, I don't think it's a lot of those. Then it came out specifically that time to force the end. It might be an aftershock of what happened several hours earlier. I don't know. That's guesswork. But so one of those things, a pity anyway. One didn't. Again, I wouldn't be chasing it now. This is the price I want to get into as well. That's what he got to in the end, but that's the price, 145, round about there. Anyway, never mind. If it comes back again, we'll have a bash. But the moment the ship has sailed. Okay. Well, so yeah, let's just make sure. How far is that? 100 pips, so we need about 60 stop. Whoa. Really, I'm not sure you get a risk reward of that. Really pushing it. Just have a go. Don't think so, though. 26, 26. Really don't think so. Right in there. Sorry, that's in the wrong place. See, and that's barely, I like it just below that. That's barely cutting it. Ideally, I want to stop here, actually. Then it clearly won't work. It will work to 145, but not here. Only way around if you want to push it, because it did come back and test and went up. You're pushing it a bit. That's up to you, of course. Raise that a bit and fiddle the figures as like that accountant does. Sorry, accountant. Can you cook? Yes, I'm the accountant. Cooks, I cook. Yeah, even that doesn't work. Really. Oh, okay, never mind. Move along. Okay, go to the economic calendar. Jobless claims came out at 211 as opposed to 195. Remember, it's the other way around from the non-farm. That's the jobs report. The higher, the more jobs. The lower, the higher the figure here, mean there's more people on welfare, basically. So expected 195 jobless people to claim welfare. Actually, it was 16,000 people more last month claimed, well, or this last week, sorry, claimed welfare. So that means it looks like some comeback on the inflation. It sounds awful, this. The slight pullback inflation aiming at usually means jobs come down. You know, that's the way it is. Okay, that's why they reduced the interest rate in COVID to give people a chance to increase the jobs. But of course, that increased inflation. So that's one of those things. Hence, we got a little bit of dollar weakness, if I remember rightly. Yeah, we got some dollar weakness as a result of that. And NASDAQ, etc., went up a bit. And the result of it, of course, then gold, etc., went up a bit. So if you're in a buy on gold, I don't know why it should be gold at all, but that was up to you. You'd have come all right from the sell, you wouldn't have. But yeah, we did have a positive effect on gold and NASDAQ, etc., because it was slightly less inflationary, because there's more people out of work, basically. Having said that, don't forget, there's more jobs than people taking them up. I just want to read you a quick report here if you've got a moment. Won't be long, don't avoid, I think it's important. Let's see this out of the way. Data in the meantime chimes the narrative of still data in the meantime chimes the narrative of still tight labour market. The ADP rolls, that was yesterday, or Wednesday, yeah, yesterday. Estimate beat expectations and job openings were reported in excess of 10.8. This is higher jobs. I mean, there are still around 1.9 openings for every unemployed worker. That's pretty damn good. In other words, the jobs are there, just there are not enough people skilled to do it. Okay, today's eyes are on the initial jobs claims for a number below 200 will give little evidence of the labour market cooling. Little evidence of the labour market cooling. Well, it looks like the labour market is cooling according to weekly jobless claims because it was higher than 200, not lower, if you're with me. It gets confusing, you sound like back to front, but it's inversely proportional, etc., etc. But yeah, so that was one of the reasons why that actually didn't occur. And so that's why you're going to watch these things, because you don't know how the data is going to come out and it can affect your trade. In the meantime, whether it affected THF or JPY or the JPY is another story. It's certainly not going to affect, because the power of over the world the United States have, mainly due to their media control, etc., and other areas, don't forget. But still, they do that, and so they do have a bit of a trickle-down effect onto the other currencies and other economies around the world. Remember, they buy stuff as well. Even if it's on debt, they buy stuff, and a lot is imported from China, South Africa, Europe, etc. So, yeah, we get the idea. That's fairly straightforward, I hope. Yeah, so there we go. Going forward, we don't have anything more of importance today, I don't think. Just tomorrow is the one, the big one tomorrow. Yes, nothing really of much consideration coming up. A couple of 2 stars, but these are not very important. So that's at least out the way for this afternoon. I'm just going to quickly copy and paste that for everybody again. I'm going to make it happen, even if everyone's got it, just in case one hasn't or missed it or something. There, the very important economic calendar, and of course the dollar index, also very important. Probably even more important, because you don't want to be going in with major fundamentals coming out, as we know, to our costs from the past. Okay, good. Right. Yeah, a couple of people have still asked me because of bad internet connections or etc. Not too sure about. I think Tony called me about mountain spikes, etc. And sort of getting half the side of it because I say the Wi-Fi load shedding, not getting the full side of it. So, bottom line, unless you got some trades discussed, would anybody there already knows it? Have the patience just to spend a couple of moments trying to clear up the straddle trade we'll be doing. So once they got the hang of it, it's going to be fairly easy to, move forward, basically. Because it's yeah, in other words, trying to get them to get the idea. Oh, well done, well done. Oh, perfect. Well bloody done, Derek. So you got to, like I said to you on that WhatsApp, you got to have the equipment. In this case, you got to have Wi-Fi. That's the equipment. When it takes a generator, that's another story. We can't do it without without the equipment, without knowledge and the capital. All three, you can't do without it. Take one out of the equation, you can't do the job. Simple as that. Like the fire triangle. Put the fire out, cut one of the sides of the fire triangle, the fire goes out. Same principle, depending on the fire course and what I'm on about. But yeah, you have to have all three. Okay, that's great. Okay, so if you don't mind, I'm just quickly go to that straddle trade again, so we're all on the same page. You begin with your light, but preferably the NAS and the Dow you can, the micros you can, but just remember it's about a 12 pip spread. I quite like the euro dollar because it is a big mover and it has got the dollar as part of it and to move more than the others. And the spread is the tightest of all the currencies because it's by far the biggest trade, by far higher, most volumes, most liquid of a lot. Over $1 trillion a day contract value on the euro dollar alone. $1 million, 18 million rand, to get the general idea. Divide that by 60 million, and you find that's like a millionaire for everyone in the country, sort of, or quite, you get the idea. So, yeah, the point I'm trying to make is that's the reason why I pick it. We pick whatever you like. It's called a straddle. You don't put a stop or a TP in, you don't buy or sell it. You put a buy stop above the market, not a buy limit, a buy stop above the market. Mara said 20 and leave the other one in for various reasons, slightly more advanced. Don't worry about it. I'm talking about for people starting. Don't start running before you can walk. So start with, I thought 20, but I think we can be safe with 10. But the only way I say we're going to be safe with 10, not 20, is you place the trade within 2 or 3 minutes of 3:30 tomorrow afternoon. If you can't place a trade in 2-3 minutes, you might have to put a 15 pip instead if you need 5 minutes, because it moves around. It's, you know, not a lot. It'll be fairly quiet before coming up. If you're still busy faffing around trying to place the trade because you're slow on it, and 1/2 comes in, you're half done, it could come back and smack you. So you've got to know yourself and be honest with yourself. Can you place this trade? A bit of practice, you can do it within 30 seconds, but that takes a bit of practice. But if you can't, you have to start a bit earlier, but just make sure it's roundabout. Because I mean, saying 10 pips above this thing has already moved before you've done it. Your figures are out. So that's why I like it as close as possible to 3:30. But you've got to be able to place the full trade. No stop, no TP. Just an entry, a buy stop, a sell stop. Hope you've all got that. It is only for 2 we're going to do per month. That's the non-farm first Friday of the month, except this one for whatever reason, normally first Friday of the month, and the CPI, which is normally during the week. Okay. Now, we opened beforehand, so we're ready to rock and roll when the data is released. Okay. Now, when these fundamentals come out, Tony and Derek, etc., you often get big movements in the market. These are quite small. That's a day chart, yeah. Even that's fairly small. You can get big spikes. You might not. We don't know. It might be nothing happening. You might get whipsaw. There's nothing guaranteed. What we're saying is a likelihood that could happen. Let's take advantage of it. We want to get everyone away to say, do I close this at that price? Do I know? No, we don't. There's millions of people trading with millions of variables. Not millions, but a lot. That's what I'm saying. So we're trying to get so we can make a trade list. Now, it's just coming up to 3:30. We've got a couple of minutes to go. We're going to place a trade. You go, you have it there, put it on the 15 minutes so you can see what's going on. That's not, there's not retrading off the 15 minute. It means you can see what's going on. If you put on the monthly, it might move 1,000 pips. You can't see it because it's so crunched, if you know what I mean. It's only because you can see the movements easier. No other reason. Right, I'm going to go and do this now. And it's just before. So I'm going to put the buy 10 pips above. So I'm going to go, where's this now? Euro dollar. Do it quickly now. Market execution. Quickly go to pending. Have it ready for there. Go to the buy. But don't rush it. If you're rushing it, you put a wrong thing in. Make sure you got the buy stop. You've got to work out your volumes. Work out about, I'd say not 100, but $80 risk per micro. Let's say you want to put in 5. Stick in your 0.05. Okay. This takes about a minute, 2 minutes max. And then what you do is then you place the order. Got to put in. Sorry, the pricing you got to put in, which will be 10 above that. So you put 1.0582, 10 above the buy price, not above this one here, the buy price, and you place the order, right? Then it sits above the market, sits there as an out. Now you get the other one pretty quickly in. Double click, go to pending, go to sell stop. There you are. Just after 5. Go to what's 20? Go 1.170, 160. Go 1.0560. Now, if you can't do it quickly before 3:30, then use 15 pips. If you do it about 10 beforehand, the movement might take one of those 10 pips away in. Now you're snooping. So you've got to make sure you're not in the market None of those are filled before 3:30. Hope you're with me on this. Then you're going to put the price in. So put the stopwatch in, sorry, busy talk at the same time. Put the price in at 1.0560, and then you place the order. But you must make sure it's closed now past 3, because you don't want that order filled before 3:30. I hope you got that concept. It's very, very important. That's why close. So they're both in there, they're not filled. Then 3:30 comes, and if it's different to the expectations, it'll have a jump. We don't know where. Let's say it goes up, let's say 50, 60, 70 pips suddenly. It's obviously taken you in, hopefully it's taken in, I haven't got slippage. Let's say it takes you in, a nice in profit. Before fiddling around with closing, buggering around, you get rid of the opposite. So you delete your sell stop, and then you ride it. Might be an idea to go to volumes, double click, and have the thing ready, or park close, or whatever you want to do, because it can jump around. It might go zooming up. Look at this thing here. That's on a 15 minutes, could be on a day chart. You get this, zoomed up, and they came zooming back again. Not be very happy with that. So you've got to be on it. If you're not that type of person, you're not sure, you can't be on it. Your movements are, let's say, on the slow side, or put it diplomatically, it's not going to work for you. You've got to be on it. So this is really moving. You can't ask me questions. By the time I verbalize it, the things move. It moves, but you can take advantage of get the concept. It shot up there, but shoot down. So as soon as it's done that, delete, bang, and then you go to volume, double click, and have it ready. It starts coming off. You can either quickly close, put in the volume. You've got 5 sensors. Close 2, double L2, close 2. You've got 3 left. It's coming off, move, close another, or it's close out, or whatever. Or it's just come back. Now it's getting back up again. Hesitate, have it ready, and it'll be jumping around. See what happens until it starts to settle, go down a bit, up a bit. And now it's settling. It seems to be on the way up. You can take a bit of a breather. Look at my adrenaline. Look at the speed I'm speaking. That's what you got to be at. Not, yeah, but it worked. You get it. You've got to be on it. And then as it moves up, then you can say, I've got a bit of time now. I'll put a stop in here just in case. I'll make a 50 pip profit anyway. It's right up there. Ride it a bit, ride a bit. So I'm going to be late for dinner, my darling. I'm riding this because you can make another couple of grand. You know what I mean? If you've got a decent position in. Before dinner, you'll have a decent position, trust me. But you get the idea. So if you've got the concept of that, it can be a very quick, easy, and extremely profitable trade to finish the week with. And quite honestly, you cover all the stuff that you make cock-ups with, or you lost on, or whatever. It can be happy days, but as long as you're on the same page where I'm coming from. Otherwise, don't do it or ask again. Because people say, is that a sell or a buy order? And you say, am I talking to myself? Are you not getting this? You know what I mean? Got to be honest, not being rude. It's for your sake that sounds rude. You've got to be understand this. I'll explain again till you get this concept. Otherwise, we could have people ending up in tears for the wrong reasons, not making a profit when they should have. Are we on the same page here? Sorry, it was quick, but if you've got to understand, it will be quick when it comes in tomorrow. Okay, depending. Is that all clear? If it's not clear, I'll do it again till it is clear. It is important. If you want to make a buck, this is important. Never mind the YouTube series, sounds great fun. This is important. This is a good way of making a buck. Are we good with that, guys? Okay, Derek. Right. Thank you. Right. A straddle trade is you're putting, no, not a policy of making it. A lot of people won't put their hand up. They sit there in ignorance. A year later, they ask the same question. They won't put their hand up. And then they complain. They have the temerity to complain to us and say, we're no good, they're losing money. Or I don't want to be rude here, but sometimes it gets very close. You know what I mean? I didn't go to school, but I didn't pass my exam. That's bloody rubbish. Well, you know, no, you're making an effort. Right. It's called a straddle trade. You're straddling the market. Right now, you don't know if this is going to go up or go down on the release of this data. It's important, and it's going to impact the market worldwide. It's the most important of fundamentals. Not as important as the bomb going off, but we don't know that's going to happen. We do know 3:30 tomorrow, those figures will be released. Little tip, don't phone the broker just before non-farms. He won't take the call and be irritated you even tried. He'll be fixated, wait for those figures to be released. If you've got access to Bloomberg or whatever, you can hear the lead up to it. But never mind that, you'll be sitting here with me, hopefully. Those who got the Tom can afford to do it and got the understanding will be sitting here. And they'll be placing the trade. Why do I say just before the market at 3:30, because you place the trade here now 15, 20 minutes, half an hour before, you got to order a pending order up there and that pending order down here. You might in the noise take that one in. That's not going to work. So now you're in the market going down, not up. Anything could happen. That's not very good. So you've got to make sure you are not in the market. You're in a pending placed order, which is not being filled. Okay, because that's what the market is. So one is there, but no, yeah, it's on the 15-minute up here somewhere. So this is your buy stop order, not buy limit, buy stop order above the market. This is your sell stop limit below the market. I'm talking 10. Maybe you should change to 15 if you're not getting a crack of this. But I would like to maximize your profit by 10 pips. So I'd rather bring it closer. But it means you've got to be able to place the order as near as possible to 3:30. But make sure you got the order in. Right. So you know it's coming up to 3:30. All right, take 2 minutes. You can maybe make 3. It's going to be fairly quiet going up. You 10 minutes, 10 pips. That says 70. So you obviously put 80. That says 70 or 68. In this case, you put 58. You get 10 pips below this on the sell stop, 10 pips above that on the buy stop. As I said before, you go there and you double click and you go and you put in the volumes. Risk about 80 around a micro. You should be able to, at this stage, if you can't work that out, I think you should give up trading. Still be room, but yeah. The 80 Rand a micro is the what you're prepared to risk. If you want to risk 800 Rand, you put in 10 micro. You want to risk 80 Rand, you put in 160. You get the idea. Now I want to risk, I don't know what 5/8 of 40. I want to risk 400 Rand. I'm going to put in 0.05. You get the idea. That's my volume. Then I'm going to, sorry, I'm going to make sure I've got a pending order, not the market execution. That's a minute earlier, put the wrong sell limit order in. I'll get a complete cop. Make sure it's buy stop, not these two, buy stop. Then not this, you got the volume of 5, right? Put in, like, just click it up, that probably quicker there. And then you put in 10 pips below. No, we'll do the buy stop, 10 pips above, 105.80, 05.80. It's 10 pips above. You got it? Then you place the order. I'll place it now. Then you go and you go to the same thing. You go to market execution, pending order, sell stop. Make sure the 5 is there. What we do it 10 pips below. So that'd be 1.0560. Got it? Place the order. Now you've got this order below the market, that order above. We don't know how it's going to come out. Nobody in the world does. Powell might not, whoever, yeah, probably Powell will know, but he won't know the reaction to it. Nobody will know until the reaction occurs. All sorts of pending orders like this are going in. A hell of a lot of them are going in. So just bear that in mind. You see what I mean? It's moving already, so that's about 8. So make sure just before the 3:30 release. You're with me? I'm getting a bit worried now. The market's open, I might get caught with this. And then once one is filled, you close this one. Right click, click, and then you should be able to get rid of it that way. No, you can't. What a pity. Okay, you want to get rid of it one? You'll have it down here as your buy, sell, stop. There's a trade here. There you go. There you are. Simple as that. So let's say this one is filled on the way up. You obviously go to the sell stop. It says it clearly there. Right click, and then right click. Oh yeah, right click and delete. Okay, and then you run with this one. If it comes screaming down, obviously then you get rid of the buy stop. You click on that one, right click, and then you delete. You're not in the market yet. Delete what? You delete the order has not been filled. Bang, delete it. Once that's done, you go to volumes. Okay, that's a volume set. You ignore it now. You're in open position now. You click on volumes like that. You highlight the volume. Click on double click. Box comes up there. And then you've got the yellow bar there, and you can ready to close or put a volume in and part close. That's up to you, and follow it up. Is that all? Got it? Have you got the concept now and the mechanics of that specific trade? Have you got it now, Derek and company? Anybody not got it? Anybody not got the concept of that? Because it's very, very important. Because I got a guy last time who says, is this a sell trade? And I thought, no, I didn't quite want to say to that. Clearly wasn't getting the slightest idea what I was on about. And for that sort of person, I do more classes or whatever, something else. But don't try it if you haven't got the concept. Do you have anybody not got the concept? If you still can't get it, I'll do it again. If you still don't get it, maybe don't do it. Yeah. Anybody not got the concept? I know you've got it, Mark's going to say. I'm not talking about Mark and Myers and Fanny. I'm talking about the new guys, you know. It's going down. What's going down? You're starting to worry me, Derek. No, it's going down. Now you're starting to worry me, Derek. What are you talking about? What's going down? Sorry, Derek, unmute, because I've got a horrible feeling. Yeah, I was going to say, what are you talking about? This is nothing to do. It's not 3:30 non-farm payroll on Friday afternoon. This is a preparation to show the mechanics how to do the trade quickly before the time involved, so you're ready to do it. This is a session where I'm teaching how to do it. So this is not a live. It's not a live straddle trade now. Does anyone think that we're doing it now? Does anyone think this? No, this is for 3:30 non-farm payrolls tomorrow afternoon. Okay, got to be worried. This is we're not doing a trade idea now. This is a training showing you how to do the mechanics, guys, so you can make some money tomorrow. Anybody still? I don't know. Okay, thanks, you got it. Can I delete these orders now? Okay, good, you got it. Sure. Okay. I'm still not with you on this spike, so that's probably where I'm missing the point, Tony. Well, you talking about spikes. I'm not quite sure where you're going with these spikes. That's a spike. Yeah, I can see that's obvious. But what I'm not quite sure where you're going with that. You need to do. Can you just, you know, amplify your question a little bit so I can fully understand what you're talking about, mate? The spikes are just movements in the market, quick movements. I'll give you an example. Look at this candle here. It opened and closed there, as it turns out, on the 15 minutes. But it went up there as a high and went down. Forced up there the buyers. Then they took profit, or sellers forced it back down to here. Then it forced it back, and then it closed, went to the next candle here. Went up there, went up to the top of the spike there, came down again, closed there. That's a candle. That's how it works. Where that jumped then came back in, I don't know, maybe it was a big player. There's no fund is that particular point, was there? Yeah, Harper's 3 is a funding. Oh, that's $1. That was a spike because the jobless claims came out. That's why you got the spike. Okay, came back again. Now it's moving up. That was just some guys did a straddle trade. The institutionals, the big boys, the prop trades might have done a straddle trade on that one. Remember, they go in like 1,000 contracts, not minis, micros, something like that. 1,000 standard contracts or more, and they'll just grab that no cost work institution. They might have taken. That's why I get a bit of a spike when it came out. And if you look at it, probably on the minute chart, you probably get a better idea. The spike came out. Where's 3:30 here? Maybe scrunch it a bit because it's too far away. It's in a minute chart. This was 3:30. Yeah, here, 3:30 here probably. Yeah, here's 3:30. It's a minute chart. That's why it just jumped there, because these are that 15 pip movement was just sort of orders going in on institutional. It's not big enough to play with, but 15 pips with these kind of enormous institutional trade positions, that's going to be very profitable. And there'll be a lot of trades in that period of time. You understand, high-speed traders don't touch a thing. It's all set by the computer, multi-million rand computers, multi-million dollar setups on that, with incredibly expensive and research algorithms, and they don't touch it. There'll be many traders in that minute in and out, taking advantage of that, going out again. We can't do it. That's got quite outside our realm. So don't worry too much about that. But I still feel I'm missing your point somewhere. Sorry about that, Tony. Okay, no problem. But it's good that you do this, because you have to clear these things up and make sure we're both on point. Because I often see people doing the right thing for the wrong reasons. It was quite right. I went from A to B, but the idea was not from A to B. It was maybe B to B to C or something like that. We've got to be on point. So it's very important. If you go away thinking that and it's something else, and then it's not going to work. Okay, good. We're all good? Fantastic. Okay, great. I'm glad you all out the GBP approach you're at. It's not doing pretty at the moment, is it? It's going to a loss. So the guys in this morning were still in. I hope you modified and stopped down, at least break even to cover costs. It's jumped up. That's the value I try to give for people from the trading room. They will not lose on winning trades. The guys who don't bother will have been down here in a fantastic profit, just left it and complete belief it's going to hit the TP. Don't worry about it. Money for jam. Why should I worry? And now it's in a loss. It's 15 pips in a loss. That shouldn't occur when it's down here originally on a short. So I hope nobody's left in it that attempts at trading with that specific advice and learn to modify and protect profits. Here's a classic example where sometimes you're going to be stopped out making 10 pips. You could have made 100. Here's a good example where you stopped out and you might have made 50, 60. In this case, you'd be down 15. Now you're stressing. You get my point. Nasdaq's probably up, so we'll see. Probably Google's taken. No, Google's not doing too badly. That's not bad. I thought Google had jumped up. Okay, because the NAS certainly has. Wow, Google's doing okay. Right, Baba. That's interesting. The NAS is going up, Baba's coming off. Is that sort of like negative divergence? That is interesting. Well, it's the sell zone, clearly. Can we get anything on it? There's enough there. It looks like it. Down here, what's that? $21. We should be able to get a stopper for that. What's that? Yeah, we can get a stop in for that, I think. Make it above there. Maybe a little bit higher. Might be pushing it there too much. Maybe there. Not bad, actually. Not bad. It's a bit of resistance here, as you can see, if you look along the line there. You know what I mean? Just scrunch it a bit. There's a bit of resistance there. Can you see that? Maybe you want to wait. I don't know. But we'll get a better price. I'm just worried, actually, to be honest. It's only open for about 10 minutes. So let's wait for the... What should be open for you? About 10 minutes. The NAS is still climbing. Any sellers coming in? Not yet. I'll tell you what, who passed for that one? But finally, I thought it might finally. Yeah. I think you might get a slightly better price. I can't obviously guarantee you that, obviously not. But I think it might be a possibility to get a slightly better price. Maybe settle down, have a bit of bounce up before it comes off. You might get about 86 or something. I might be wrong, but I feel you might get a better price. What do you reckon? Are you with me on that? Trouble is, Mark, you've got to understand when you're scalping, you've got to have very, very tight spreads. When I say the proprietary or prop trades they're called, they don't have that spread problem because they work for the company. You know what I mean? You know, your son works with you. He's going to charge a very different price to fix something that you will charge me when I come and have it fixed because he works for the company. Now, you've got a 12 pip spread there. So if it moves 20 pips, you give 12 to the quick trade, you keep 8 for yourself. If it goes against you 20 pips, it's 12 to quick trade and 20 to yourself on top of it. You get it. So scalping with 12 pips is a bit of an issue. What you need to be doing is looking for maybe 60, 70, NAS it's not much, 60, 70 pips is not much on the NAS. I reckon you can look at 100 pip range to make 12 pip, and even that on 100, 12 pips is 12% com, if you look at it on percentage-wise, but certainly it is 24% com on 50 pips. You should be looking at 100 pip range to do it. If you're trying to scalp with about 20 pips, well, you get a Christmas card from us, but I'm sure you'll be happy with that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like one guy couldn't seem to get the concept and paid something like 200 Rand commission on 500 Rand, or let's say it was 250 on 5 Rand, or whatever it was, example, 50% com. I tried to explain 50% com. If you got out at 250 profit, you made 100% com. If you get 1,000, you get the it's 25% com. The com stays the same. It's a percentage of where you closed at. You couldn't get that concept. And that's the worry, is this mathematical lack of know-how. I think it's causing a lot of problems. Not so much. 1 micro is at 80 Rand. 1 micro is at 80 Rand. What do you mean at? I'm sorry, Peter, I'm being a bit sick again. 1 micro is at 80 Rand. I'm sorry, I'm not with you. Just have a look, Mark said, just saying, I was doing a strategy like the one we planned for MSP, can only be done if one has a large account for a normal day. No, it doesn't have to be a large account. I suppose I would say a couple of grand. But we can send out the guys who've got 2.5 or more, but I mean, you're in the trading room. If you've got a couple of grand, okay, you join us, don't worry. But not the guys who got 500 Rand. I mean, I'm trying to get across. If that's all you got, that's fine. But I don't some concepts about this. You're trying to, this is millions of people trading a $1 trillion a day market with $50 in their account. It's undercapitalized. Are you going to open up a little egg shop or a tiny little grocery store bang next door to Pick and Pay? See what I mean? Whatever. Okay. Yeah. So no, you can, but it's like touring around looking at Lamborghinis and wanting to test drive them. If you can't get the Lambo, no. You see what I mean? I suppose you could. I think about 80 Rand a micro volume size. If you can afford, let's say, I don't know, about a 200 plus mic, make it 240 Rand risk. Then you need 2.5. That's what it works. I tell you what, 380. If you've got about 18 under 2 grand, and still 10% exposure, which is a little bit high, but that'll do. I think if you've got 2 grand, I think you can. Below that, I'm not sure it's going to be too good for you. Yeah. And you should be trading if you want to take this serious and make money. You need capital anyway. You know what I'm saying? You can't make money without some capital. Just work on a percentage form. Okay. Don't have to lot. You can build up. I have no problem with that, but don't think you can put in $5 and then draw out 50 Rand 2 seconds later. No, I mean, it should be realized. But I think we missed this trade now. It seems to be still coming off. Might still be worthwhile. But let's just see what the other guys are saying, because I'm not quite sure what Pete's coming from there. More worried about him not getting the point with me, actually. Okay, that's problem. No, NK is good stuff. I'm strictly Afrikaans, Mark. No problem there. 1 micro is approximately 80 Rand. No, 80 Rand to get your volume. See what you mean? Right. So in other words, you say I can risk 240 Rand. I can go for, I'm talking about the non-farm straddle trade. You can do a volume of 3. If I can risk 800 Rand, I do a volume of 0.1 or 10 micros or 1 mini or whatever. 80 Rand a micro will be your volume for your risk, and you've got to be able to afford that risk. Are we all on the same page on that one? Good. Okay. So I see what you mean now. We beg your pardon, approximately month today. APPROX. Okay. Yeah, 80 Rand, because people often ask 3 minutes before opening, what volume should I put in? And I think, for crying out loud, you know what I mean? So you've got to know what volumes. So you know what your balance is. Everyone knows their balances, what they're prepared to risk, the volume. If you're prepared to risk a certain amount, divide 8 into it, you'll get your volume. Okay. I think we're all clear on that one now. Good stuff. Are you going long on it? Oh, okay. Well done. Where is it? Let's have a look. Yeah, okay. You can do. Where's 1850? Yeah, will you put down 1852? 1852 will do if you like. I'm not too worried about that if you're doing fine. Let it go up. I'm more than happy with that. You can put it slightly higher if it turns you on. Just remember, I don't know what price you got in at, but follow it if just in case. Remember, anything comes. This is tomorrow. To be fair, it's not now, so it's a whole day away. But you don't want to be unprotected and still in an open position on gold when a major economic fundamental is being released. Hope that's all clear. But if you're doing just fine with it, what price do you get in, Tony? You might be able to modify already because it's doing quite well. It's been pushed up by a delayed movement on the dollars coming out. People are now coming to their desk and perceiving, hang on a minute, the market might be cooling a bit more. Good for gold. So what price do you get into? 18.70, perfect. That's $13 in profit, you bloody star. Well, sodding done. Yeah, I think you protect yourself. Put it up to 18, still going up nicely. Protect yourself. Make it 18.25. There you are. Put your stop loss in at 18.25, Tony, and you leave the TP. I'm not worried about your TP. It's all about profit protection. So put your stop in 18.25. If you get stopped out, you made $8. Not exactly. You mean $8 per ounce. That's what I'm trying to say. You made $8 per ounce, whatever your volumes are. And if it goes up, you get the hit to TP even better. At least you're protected. So that's what I'm going to suggest. 18.25, and you build a bit of profit. Okay. What it would do, because it looks like the dollar index is coming off. Remember, Vicky and guys, America is in dollars. Everyone else ain't, and they're paying for oil in dollars. That's the currency of the oil. It's paid, bought and sold in dollars. So yeah, dollar for most people now. Brent is becoming less expensive because the dollar's falling. So it'll have an appreciable, it'll have a benefit for the price of the oil itself, in the oil price. Okay, I'm behind the rule. Maybe some good things happening in the economy means they'll be driving more. Good things happen in the economy. You know, you drive more, fly more, which means you use fuel. If good things happen in the economy in China, America, or Europe, or whatever, means you're going to be burning more fuel, basically. So yeah, so that's not a surprise. I think there's Hero who's not on here because I said just hold maybe 81. You will get 82, but I was a bit nervous to do that. If you want to do, I think he did in the end actually, because he can make his own mind up. He's a bit experienced now. And I said, well, I'm a bit where I'm trying to get a better price. You read between the lines, yeah, get in now, but whatever. But I still think 80 would have been a better one to get in on, and it could get anyway. I'm waffling a bit now, but yeah, it's going up. I don't know if you're in or not, but don't buy it now. You won't get a risk reward. Leave it alone. We're going to buy this. We want to be buying it down here somewhere, or even 81. So I would leave this for the moment if you want to buy it. Okay. But anyway, Vicky, you get where I'm coming from on that. Yeah. So it's getting oil's in dollars. A weaker dollar means you're paying less for your oil. Good news. Okay. If you're in rands or whatever it is. Okay. Hope it's all clear on that. Okay. Yes, Emery, absolutely. But remember, you can do it with pleasure. Just remember, the euro-dollar spread is very, very different. I'll show you what I mean. I think we all know it, but for everyone's case. You take the euro-dollar, right? Left click, right click, go to specification. You'll know that now. The spread is 1.2 pips. That's 12 points, 1.2 pips. Got it? Now we go to the NAS. There we are, 120 points or 12 pips. So you clearly can't put 10 on the NAS because you haven't covered your costs. You've got to start looking at 25, and that's your problem. But if you want to do it, you don't use 10. You've got to use about 20. Use about 25 above and below because the extra wider spread. That's the only reason I think I prefer the euro-dollar for it. But the upside of the NAS, to be fair, is it's much more volatile than euro-dollar. In theory, not always. Nothing is 100% guaranteed. But in theory, over area of probability, the NAS is a bigger mover. So that might, you might get, let's say, 50, 60 pips on the euro-dollar, but turning on NAS, you might get 100. So it might be worthwhile to pay the extra cost. Just have to see what happens tomorrow. But at least now you're aware of the information, and now you can make clear a decision on it, because you're getting the full picture rather than half the picture, if you see what I mean. Okay. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, this Baba thing, but he missed it. I thought, wait for a bit. I think Fine's going to kick me ass just now. It's getting up a bit. Thank goodness for that. Anyway, oh no, it's not. It's come off a bit more. Oh no, I think I'm going to get my ass kicked on this one. Can we still do it? Sorry, I thought we'd get a better price. Can we still do it? What's this, a daily? $6 just over. Can we do it? We need at least 11, 12. Oh, we do it. What am I asking about? Yeah, we'll do on the weekly there. That's even better. Just give me a second. We've got to put the figures down. Remember, guys, the calculator can only be used on the Excel spreadsheet on the LMS on Stock Market College. You go to your resources. If you haven't got that, well, you haven't got it there. But that is completely separate. Okay, so I can't use this calculator down here. Use for everything else. Write this down. I think we can still do it because I feel bad if we can't now for all that. Make 85, okay? 85, got to write something. What did I say? The stop above here. 101's too far. 94.50, that should do it. 94.50. And we can take it down here, can't we? Why not? 65, how far is that? Yeah, take it down here. All that around 64. And what's that? 85 to 94.50. What's the difference? Is £9.50. Call it a straight $10 or $1.80. That'll include your costs. Give me a second and you tell me if you want to do it. Okay, guys, now this is where a fractional might come in useful because some guys say, I can't afford 180 Rand, I can only afford, let's say, 100 buck risk. Then you can go with 0.5. If you can afford 180, then 1. If you can afford, let's say, what's 90 on 270, 1.5, 360, 2.0. That's where a fractional can come in usefully on shares. But I want to get away from the idea that Forex is the same. One is not big on shares, it's enormous on Forex. We get the idea of that. But if you like it, tell me. Have a look at it, give me a few moments to think whether you like it or not. And if you do, I get a couple of people and then I'll write it down here. Okay. Just to bear in mind, even this will be affected by tomorrow's, but it won't, in theory, be quite as drastic as, let's say, the NASDAQ or whatever. Okay, great. Well, we have it then. Good. The Google's popped up a bit, so if anyone still wants to do the Google, we can do that. Oh, that's the share split. That didn't come off there. That's a share split. Google's pumped up a bit. It's holding there, isn't it? If anyone wants to do the Google, I'll put it up again. So a couple of guys might be in it. If they want to do it, they can to sell as well. GOOGL dot sell. I've got 95, but you got a better price. So I'll put 95 in anyway. SL 98. TP 80, would it? 88.50. Is that right? I think that's correct. My bloody writing would help. Risk is Was it $3? Yeah. $3. What's 318? That's 24.55, 40.55. We'll stick with that. Go in at market if you like it, because you're getting a better price. Remember to sell. And the extra 15 cents maybe put for that cost. So we'll take that out of the equation. So $55 to go. Okay. There you are. But I'm warning you, might go a little bit more, simply because I'm looking at the dollar index. It's coming off. It's still above 105. It's still fairly strong. But it's a bit of a reaction against that jobless trade. Bear that in mind. I'll see a bit of a typing quicker, do a bit of a crypto there, not crypto, typo, crypto. Seal, I meant sell, obviously. Good, brilliant, guys, brilliant. CFChip JPY, anything happening on the CAD JPY? I think most out of it. Starting to recover now. Anybody still in this CAD JPY? You might come right still in. I think some guys might still be in it despite the 60 stop. Pity about the Swissy. You should have taken it like 145. Anyway, he didn't. Pity, it was up 30. Oh, well, anyway. So weird. Must admit, anyone talk about persistence beats resistance, that's what, third bloody time. I'm not sure chase it twice a grad here, no, 3 times. Well, you might get back. You obviously got a lot better price. Should come right this time. Okay. I can't advise chasing it again, but you're still in, Simone. You might come right. A bit low to say chase at this better level, but I still see upside. That's my sort of hint roundabout way of saying it, but I can't put my head on the line and say go for it in case it comes off. And you're bitten twice, and be highly pleased with it. But yeah, I think it could come right. It did with most, yeah. Okay, Anne-Marie, as always, fantastic to have you here. But they're so bloody woke as well over there. What's the? I don't know if heard of Bill O'Reilly, No Spin News, and he's all right. Can't help. He's slightly to the right. He used to be on Fox News till they went after him, but he tries to be no spin and objective, and he says that now you got to be practically an axe murderer to get criminal now. It's all so woke, you know. I mean, what's it? Trudeau? He's unbelievably woke. So does it mean? Don't you heard of Candace Owens? They all mean well, but actually do more damage to the people they're helping. That's the problem. That's what she's trying to say. That thing on the video they had where a whole bunch of teams went in and rubbished some sort of shop causing $20,000 US worth of damage. Nobody actually knew why, other than just sheer mindless vandalism, you know. Put them in the Russian army, eh? Not the US army, the Russian army. Ooh. Yeah, I know, we discussed it earlier on, Vicky. We discussed earlier on, 4 hours later. I don't want to go over it all again in depth like I did earlier on, but what's happened is I'll sorry guys, just quickly going again. We use a company, CM something or other, when it does WhatsApps, you pay them, and the idea is they have an automatic filter for who's got 5 grand or more, and who's got 2.5 grand or more, or put it in dollars, blah blah blah, to get the signals out. Now, there's nothing wrong with the quick trade guys. fact, I know the guy sends them very well, and he's really on it. He's seriously extremely good. And he gets it. Jack puts it out to him. I post some trading support because I'm licensed to give the trades. The Jack puts it together for this guy, and this guy then sends it out because he's a clever guy in charge of it. But Trump's got a new template every time. That doesn't take long. They're on that one as well, and sends it to them. So I've had a strong whinge earlier on, and we gladly has left somebody here to go over it all over again. And my whinge, not talking about going over this, because I'm really losing with that. And they're faffing around until they eventually start getting the damn thing out there. And then Mark very kindly and brilliantly and very helpfully said he just received it now. That's the information I was actually on point looking at. So I was immediately on it saying, this is bloody ridiculous. I mean, it's not completely obviously ridiculous. It's, as I say, Vicky, can you imagine say, come and trade with me. I've got great charts here. They're 4 hours delayed. Hey, ha, you know, clearly, obviously, it's not going to work. So I said, no, we can maybe understand a bit of delay, but people can't just jump in immediately, but maybe 50 minutes, half an hour, pushing an hour max, but 4 hours is ridiculous. I mean, this case is probably quite lucky because it didn't do too well. But what happened to me, we had 3 hours today and they're brilliant. When was the GBP USD on Tuesday? And you completely missed the boat, and that was abuse. So hard as apparently all the Jark is onto them because they're paying you for this, Mr. CM or whatever the company is. Get this sorted because this delay is absolutely ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's we're in the business of helping people to trade through helping with signals. There's no point in the thing delayed 4 hours. I mean, again, you know, I mean, it's ridiculous. And it's obviously, it can't be more obviously ridiculous. It's like me asking you, Vicky, do you want me to tell you, I know exactly where this is going to go from here. 100% guarantee, I know exactly where it's going to go. Do you want me to tell you now beforehand or after it's got there? If ever there's a rhetorical question in the history of mankind, that's it. You know what I mean? Utterly obviously beforehand. You see what I mean? So, yeah. So I must admit, I'll go on again because I'm sure I've annoyed all of you already, but I get very frustrated with this kind of thing. We do our best here to get them out, and the last thing we want you guys is to get it sort of, you know, the fucking ship has sailed. Glad they got on today when I'm so pleased the ship had sailed as it turns on, because it wasn't a great trade. It might turn out to be good now, but not at sodding time. So yeah, hopefully you'll be able to rattle some cages there and get this sorted. Because I'm so tempted to put it on my group like I do the banner. The problem is a lot of the guys have now dropped below that level of 2.5. And that's why I'm not supposed to do it, but maybe we'll have to make a plan. And I cannot filter my WhatsApp every day. It'll take all day to do it. It's impossible. That's because I haven't got the brains of the computer, which does it like, you know, trillions of bloody calculators a second. You do it with the touch of a button. But if you went for it, Vicky, if you said I actually did, you went for it, you probably did yourself a favor because you probably found the price to get it at 99.10. You received the signal 4 hours later, it was down here. You probably had the sense to say, well, hang on, I'm getting a better price. Maybe not use the same stop, clearly the stop them out there. You probably put a stop down here somewhere and then use the same TP up there and hey, whisper, hey, presto, you're in business. That's the way when you get a bit of experience, and more of that, not just experience, thinking on your feet. You know, that's nothing to do with the share market or any market. Think on your feet. Well, hang on, let's use a bit of common sense here. I like the signal. I'm getting a hell of a lot better price. Delayed, I'm going to take advantage of that delay. I'm going to act on it and get a better price. What a pleasure. That's thinking. And one guy said, well, I've only just started the trading exercise. I'm not doing trading. It's called using your cock, basically. You were mentioning Monday's trade. I missed it because it never came. Well, Monday, unfortunately, I can't remember what happened on Monday. What was Monday's trade? I can't remember what Monday's trade was. I know we had a couple on Tuesday, but not on Monday. Was it Monday? When did the GBP USD come out? Was it Monday or Tuesday? I thought it was Tuesday. I can't remember that. Tell you that. Yeah, I can't remember. Tell you that. Wherever that is. That came out on the 7th. Didn't it? No, it didn't. Yes, it did. No, that was released on the 7th. What's today? The 9th? We're Thursday. No, it was released on Tuesday. Well, a lot of other people did get, even if it was a couple of hours later, they did get the GBP USD. Hell of a lot of guys I know, because look at the positions, which I can do. And there's a whole load of people in that one on the sell. And I know Mark and Company got it. So I don't know why you didn't get it, but it was a Tuesday, not Monday. And it was a beaut, yeah. GBP USD, yeah. I tell you what, Vicky, and this is for guys in the trading room. Okay, you got my WhatsApp number. If you see the banner, give it a couple of minutes, maybe 10 minutes. I don't know. Just not exact. Try and get away with this exact thing. Use a bit of cop, you know. Give it a few minutes or whatever. Still nothing's coming through. You can send me a WhatsApp and I'll copy and paste. Okay. Give me a bit of time. If suddenly 20 people send it through, and I'm going to keep copying and pasting. It takes a couple of moments to get the point. But Vicky, you can do that if you like. Barney, Mark, you get the idea. Fiona or whatever. As long as you got over 2.5. If you got less than that, I'm sorry, don't be rude. Don't bother. For guys who got more than 2.5, you should get it virtually immediately on the MT5 platform. That's for everybody. You'll get that. The VIP guys will get the WhatsApp ones. So if you see a banner there and you haven't received an MT5 mailbox in 10 minutes, clearly it's for the VIP. You know, the guys who got the Tom, like I mentioned, then you can just give me a quick WhatsApp and copy and paste. But a certain individual on here only for this platform, not for any other platforms. Okay, please. So don't go and get it from me and place another platform for this platform. You know what I mean, eh? Oh, that is good news. Now, Vicky, that's the best news I've heard all day. So it's not normally 4 hours. I get an impression this has been the problem. So normally it's in 10, 15 minutes. That's not what I was meant to understand, or not meant to understand. That's maybe I misconstrued it. I thought we're getting these things completely delayed. 10, 15 minutes, that's acceptable. All right then, 10, 15 minutes, we'll make another plan on that. If you get a banner, remember when I get the banner, I post it immediately. They don't, I do, on the QT group, the WhatsApp, my QT group, what VIP, whatever you want to call it. When you see it, 15 minutes gone by, and you haven't seen it in your MT5 or anywhere, just give me a quick WhatsApp. I'll copy and paste. I did it for 2 or 3 people today. Now they're throwing custard pies at me because clearly, well, it hasn't worked out. It might do now, but didn't work out at the time. Okay, on this particular trade. Are you with me on that, Vicky and company? Not sure what you got in your, I don't know if you remember, Fiona, but those who have a membership on that, just quickly send me the, and I'll copy and paste it to you. Brian, I see you're on there. You can do what you like with it. Because as long as you don't initiate the signals, we understand. You got it from us and you want to do that. Don't say I said so, but I think so. We've got to get these things out there, you know. Got that. Good stuff. Are we on the same page here? Someone will get this to work. Okay, mate, no problem. So I'm just seeing the signal now. Should I buy it? Brilliant. Myself a favor. Let's have a look. Ugh. Would you say buy it now after what happened today? What the hell? Yes. Why not? Yeah, yeah. Let's just work something out there for him to a better stop loss. He's only seen it, but he's a bit new. We might use the same stop. That'd be slightly ridiculous. I'll do that. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Then on the glut for punishment, wants to do it again. You got the figures up there. Anyway. Hope that's helped because the guys are taking the trouble here, going back to the signals. So if you don't get in 15 minutes of delay or whatever, just ask me. I just copy and paste because I know what that signal is. Clearly, it's my signal. You know what I mean? Okay. Good. So I'm loud, guys, but that's the way I am. I get frustrated. I really mean it because I'm really on your side. Now, it's tough enough as it is with these daft things in the market without adding to things like that, which we can control. And then we'll start getting it right. I want people to come to the trade room and come out as winners, not people who get, stuffed around, basically. Like my family. Okay, right. Let's just have a little progress, see what we're doing on other sides here. Not that off. Let's go back to the NAS. Anything recovering on that? NAS is getting a bit of a jump. I'm not sure I like it's a thing. Everyone seems to like the NAS on the micro. So you get a NAS trade out. Dollar still falling. So the 15 minutes start to come off a bit. I think we get a NAS trade out on the micro. There we are. On the micro there. Where can you put the stop? I want above 500 right out of the way. That's a bit too far out of the way, I think. Yeah, do that. That'll do. TP, that'll do. Is that? Yeah, that's plenty. 60 bucks a shot. Anyone do a micro on that one for a sell? Bearing in mind, there's nothing without risk-free. You might get stuffed up tomorrow after 3, but hopefully you might have a bit of a profit. If it do take the trade, okay, right. Sorry, if you are in a profit before the 3:30 show tomorrow, suggest you modify your stop loss to break even or just below there, just in case the thing goes belly up through the fundamental coming out. Okay, if you don't want to take it, leave it. Okay, but there's one I think might get a bit of downside from here. I'm not sure a jobless claim doing a couple of thousand more than expected is going to shove the NAS all the way back to 12.5, but we shall see. That's why I think it's not a bad idea. What do you guys think? And you have to get in big, 60 bucks, Mike. All right, you make 120 rand. It's not exactly going to make you retire for life on it, but at least it's maybe worth having a look at. What do you reckon? It's cheap, so why not? It's quite aggressive, but as this thing moves, you can do quite nicely. Yeah, I can do quite nicely fine as this thing moves. Let's go back to the 4 hour. Not quite the way it told me a lot. No, 1 hour. It's coming off a bit, so why not? It's coming off quick, guys. Don't forget. If you want to get in a trade, you've worked out your volume, you know what it is, and it's moving. Put the volume in, press the buy or sell button or where it is, and get in the trade. Afterwards, then you can put your stop loss and TP in because you don't want to be faffing around with a new order. Let's do this, you know what I mean? You know, you faff the 5, and then you want to go in a market execution, and you're looking like stop lid, blah, 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 like TP is, blah, 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 blah. And then by the time it's moved 20 pips, you get the idea in your favor, I might add. Okay, you might get lucky and not in your favor, but you get my point. So you'd ignore those two, put the order in, buy or sell, whatever it happens to be, and then you go to your stop loss, double click, put it in double. You get the idea. Just a little bit of a tip there. Anyone else going to take this one to join Farney? I am PN it. I presume that means you're in it, so put it down. What do you get in it just now with it? It's 12.85, wasn't it? Uh, 12.642. 11.652. Remember, ignore the points. I just moved them physically. But if I put manually, I never put these things in. Ignore these things here. It's ignore that. That's irrelevant. Okay, there we go. Good stuff. Can I knock this off now? Move on. Give it a moment in case everyone's still busy doing their thing. Always remember, guys, always bring a pen and paper so you can write this thing down quickly so we can move on. I could still go on. Hey, Brian, you would agree with me. When you're doing this like you do your job, you've got to be on it. At times it's nice and quiet, but when it moves, you've got to be on it. Sometimes it's quite daring. It's not always like this. Sometimes it's very relaxing, laid back. Sometimes it's quite bloody boring, to be honest. But when it moves, you want to strike with your hands hot, and then you really got the adrenaline's got to really speed up because at that time is now compressed where it's cost you money. This thing's really moving. By the time you're saying, what's this again? Or what volume? And get this out. Well, hang on now. I've got to fire up my laptop, blah, blah, blah. You know, that ship sails and you missed out on a decent a run. You know what I mean? So sometimes you've really got them on it. It'll be happening 3:30 tomorrow. Once those figures are released, you really got to be on it. And other times, really slow. Now, you have 5th gear and you have 1st gear. Okay, good. So it's quiet now. It's relax a bit. Is that Cat JPY? Brett's come off. So leave Brett alone. It's fine. You should all made a profit on that one anyway. Most of it will be out. And if you're not out, please make sure your original stop has covered you. We do not want to lose on that one. Babba's any coming off on that? Hovering around there, that's fine. Google, anything on that one? Yeah, 5 cents in profit. Don't panic, guys. CAD JPY. Still hanging around up there. Oh, what about GBP AUD? If anyone's still in there, I hope they're not, because it's not looking pretty now. It was very pretty. That's the advantage of coming to trade room. Now you're aware of modifying. So most of the guys are out on that trading a profit. The guys didn't realize that and now sitting in a loss. Pity. But remember, guys, Derek and company, this is leveraged. We all know what I mean by that. If you've got 100-to-1 leverage, it means moving 100 times the speed of the underlying instrument. I'll give you an example, like a house is £1 million, you put 100 grand deposit down. That's only a 10-to-1 leverage. But that house price moves 1%, that's 10% profit to you if you go in your direction. Obviously, the other way around, it ain't. You see my point? The 100 grand house, sorry, the £1 million house goes up by 10%. You have made 10% profit. You made 100% profit, excluding costs, obviously, like estate agency fees or whatever. But that's excluding that to make the figures easier. You made 100% profit on the 10% move on the house by leveraging by 10-to-1. You made 100% move. If it moves by 1%, the house price, and it goes in your favor by 1% on 100-to-1 leverage, you've made 100% profit. That's why you've got to understand a leverage market means it increases the movement. 500, increase it by 500 times. But people don't understand that. So they go in and say, oh, it's only costing me 2 grand. That's on a 5-to-1, 2 grand is a deposit on a £1 million house. But that house has only got to move a tiny little bit against you in the noise going up and down to the house price to knock your 2 grand out to your margin point. That's why you've got to appreciate that point and get the maths of it. Because I'm telling you right now, most people aren't. This is a Ferrari of trading. It's not a slow thing because it's leverage. Leverage speeds it up extremely. The higher the leverage, the higher the speed. A small move can be very, very high to your particular investment or margin going on the market, or investment margin going on the market. Okay, Simone. You get me on that, Derek and Company? EuroCAD. Not sure you want to do there, MK. Well, clearly it's in the buy zone. The CAD's pretty strong. Didn't prove very much otherwise this morning for that trade. I get you. It's recovering now. But anyway, point it is normally reasonably strong, and so is the euro. They're pretty even, Steven. I just personally think this euro is a bit overcooked up there. It's a bit overvalued, in my opinion. I can't technically say go and sell it, obviously, in this area here, but I'm a bit nervous of buying at these levels. I think basically, I'll put it another way, NK, you're trying to sell me a product. Well, NK, I like your product you're trying to sell me, but I think your price is too high. You get what I'm saying? I think that price is a bit too high. I think that could come back a bit, but I'm not confident enough. And certainly I can't put out a trading signal. They won't come back to me. It's in the buy zone. That's what you taught me. Now you tell me to say it. What's going on here? You know what I mean? So I can't put out as a sell, but I'm telling you, I think it could come back. And if it doesn't come back, where are you going to put your TP? About here? No, you've got to put it at the high. Put it right at the high, 90 pips away. Where are you going to put your stop? Down here, 60 pips, just below there, 70 pips. You're not going to get a ratio. Put it down here. It's the correct place to put it. You're whistling 130 pips to make 90. Clearly, that ain't going to cut it. Do you understand what I mean? Are you with me on the maths there, okay? Leave gold alone. Are you with me on the maths, okay? Leave gold alone. That ship sailed. I think it's pretty risky to even buy it. I wouldn't touch gold for the moment. That is going to jump around, and it could even come back a bit. There'll be a lot of nerves around gold before tomorrow afternoon. I suggest, unless you're really special in trading it, you really know what you're doing, you know what's about, you want to do short-term ones, you blah, 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 I would suggest you leave this alone for the time being. 1.480. Let's go back to that one. Fair enough, Derek. What was what we were talking about now? EuroCAD, that's right, EuroCAD. 1.480. Right, 1.480 is around about this level here. It's got to break above here to do that. When did it last break? There. It last broke there back in 26th of September, and we're now March. That's just about 5.5 months ago it was up there. What is going to make the Canadian dollar, in your opinion, so weak and the euro so strong to drive it that distance? That's what you've got to be thinking about. You see where I'm coming from? I'll give an example. It happened in a practical life. I'm obviously kidding what I'm about to say now. Liz Hurley, you know, Liz Hurley wanted to go out with me. And I said to her, what possibly do you think you've got to offer someone as wonderful as me? Same sort of principle, you know what I mean? Sorry, just teasing myself here. What is going to drive the euro up there against a fairly strong currency, the Canadian? That'd be something very strongly fundamental, which at this particular moment in time, I don't know anything about, I'm not aware of. You get the point? It's not too much optimistic. Just think it's just lack of experience in looking at the overall picture, which how long you've been doing it, probably a month maybe. I've been doing this for several years. You know, give yourself a break on this. You know what I'm saying? That's why you come here, to pick these bits and pieces up. It's a natural impulse to say, I want to be a piano player after an hour or two. But it's not going to happen. That's why you come here, pick up the experience. We work together with other experienced people. And even an experienced person can miss something. You said something about the 100-day. I thought not a bad idea. But you know, we pool our skills and knowledge together, and that's how we learn. Oh, I missed that. I've even changed the filtering on my calendar due to Farney changing around. So we learn from each other. No one must ever in this business be arrogant enough they think they know a lot or know that much more. I would say I'm a little bit more experienced. That's fair enough, but that's understandable. I think, quite frankly, Mark's more experienced in IT and Farney's more experienced in chemicals than I, which is fair enough. But if he's any good, he'll turn around and he gets a chemical student might see something that he might have missed. It can happen. That's clearly been seen in here. And that's why we pull these skills together like a forum. And that hopefully we get better at it. But even so, mistakes can happen. That's why you're getting your volumes right. That's why I have a calculator, and that's why I have a stop loss. Does that sort of make clarity to all? Okay, as long as you're happy. I don't want to frighten you off, but a lot of guys turn around and say, if you should be able to make it in this business if you can break even after a year. I don't want to frighten you all off. So, but that was made a few years ago. We didn't have trading loans. I'm hoping you're going to start with, and you've got to cut mistakes you make out by jumping in emotionally. That stuff the system up. But if you're disciplined with it, you should, after 3, maybe make it 6 months, start to say, actually, I'm getting towards breaking even. Now I'm starting to get a profit, etc. But in the past, you used to say, if you can break even after a year, then you might start saying, I'm going to be one of the guys who are going to make it in this business. The guys who think they're going to make it within a month are usually the guys who get left behind because they want to be a doctor in a month. They want to be a lawyer in a month. And they've got to be practical, say it's a skill, and you can see it's a fair bit to pick up. But if you can say, I'm going to put the effort in, and I can see I'm getting the picture, etc. But the guy says, I'm going to put £1,000 in, I want to make 10 grand a month, and I want to make it this month. That talk worries me. You see what I'm coming from. And already getting some idea, not just what you're learning, but what needs to be learned. So don't want to put you off, but you know, if you looked at the exam papers after 4 years as a lawyer, a doctor, or a pharmacist, or anything, or any university degree, in your first couple of weeks there, you'd be frightened off. But it will quite easy when you do it because you took the trouble. Okay, but these ridiculous expectations of someone who's starting with virtually no capital, no knowledge, not even the right equipment, it's always a worry because we all have goals, but they've got to be achievable. And goals like that are just out of the question. Well, not out of the question. A lottery ticket could be the winning 40 million round one, but it's highly unlikely. Okay. And that's the big stumbling block, is this ridiculous expectation. You put that in yourself, you're going to battle. So yeah, you're picking it up, be realistic, you're learning it. I think it was you studying, I think it was UNK, so you were studying. Let's say you go to university. Are you going to be taking a university degree after 2 or 3 weeks? Well, why would you expect to do it here? You know, that sort of thinking. But by goodness, you get a university degree, plenty of people out of work. In 4 years, you should make a decent living out of this. Anywhere in the world with very little capital. And you're person who got an LLB, and she put herself at a cost of 200,000 rand and time and effort through it, battling to get a job. So this is better for less, but it's still something you got to put in. Okay. I think that's fair comment, eh? Not being unfair there, am I? Or harsh? Am I being fair there? What do you think, Etienne? I think I'm being fair on that. I don't want to frighten her off, but I want you to be realistic. Thank you, NK. Good, great. Then we can really thank you. We want to win here. And if I tell you, you bought this bicycle off me and you believed it's going to outpace a Ferrari, I'm not going to say that. Thank you, Etienne. I'm not going to say that. I'm some unscrupulous guy out there, Mike, but I'm not going to do that. It's not right. Good. But yeah, as going back to Eurocab before, I'd leave that for the time being. I don't see that's a bit optimistic, okay? This is more realistic, and even then it's battling to get there. I think it's going to come back, but that is not a trade idea. Leave it for the time being, okay? Thank you, Etienne. That's exactly what I'm trying to get across. Mr. Joubert, I love you. Okay, panic. Oh my goodness, I'm a married man, go away. No, I'm only joking. But seriously, that's what I'm trying to get across. Yeah. Thank you, Etienne. That's exactly. You need the basics first. That's the college will teach you. But they'll teach you the theory, like at university. When you leave, you go into the commercial world, slightly different, because that's the practical area. Use that theory, that basics, join the training, and we try and get together, put that theory into practice. I can tell you right now, over the signals of the last 2-3 months I looked at, we're on record for about, I think it's about 66%, something like that. Turned out to profit, 34 or whatever residual, did not. But a lot of guys are turning those winners into losers because they're not coming to trade them, they're not getting the maths, they're not understanding it. So they're losing on the lose and turning the winners into lose again. Now, instead of questioning and asking why is that, they attack us. I personally don't mind it. I don't mind attacking. My frustration is when I explain why, they still don't get it. And then, you know, if you're not getting after an explanation, I'm not quite sure where to go then. I'm not taking the personal attack. I'm trying to explain you've got to put a little bit in to get that out. And they say, no. It's only so much I can do. You know what I mean? That's right. There's a large amount of variables at play. And the simple reason why a large amount of variables at play, sorry, I know it's over half past. Most guys know this. Just a second. Hello, Anifa. I'm just finishing off the trading room. I'll phone you back in 5 minutes. Okay. Oh, thanks, Ed. Right, where was I now? Yeah. One of the reasons, well, there's a lot of ways it's complex, but in other ways it's not that complex. What the trouble is, Etienne, and everybody out there, the problem is there's millions of people trading it with not just different monies and strategies. My major problem with it all is different emotions. And since COVID, because people had to work at home, worldwide, there's an incredible increase in people coming on this. And unfortunately, most of the people, not most, a large proportion, should I say, people coming in worldwide in this are coming on a wing and a prayer and full of hope in their hearts and emotion, not much feet on the ground practicality. So they can, because collectively there's so many of them, they can affect the price action by collectively doing something that is emotional rather than rational. And that does actually hinder situation. So, and Etienne was on the, it was actually a few months ago, it was on the WhatsApp to me and said, I still think those trades were good. And I said, I agree. Why? What should happen to that? Why? And I think the trades were good. There might have been some fundamental reason I didn't know about happened. Let's be fair on that. But a lot of it is irrational behavior, a large amount of, I'm going to be honest, amateurs in the market who are working on a wing and a prayer and emotion rather than practical knowledge. Why did you go into that? Why did you sell this one here when it's clear and a strong up? No, why do you sell it here? It's clearly on an uptrend or whatever. Oh, because I saw some green, it must come down. What goes up must come down. And one guy with a micro won't affect the market. Get enough people with that kind of strategy involved, then you'll get a pullback before the bigger boys who know the score will come in and push it up. The trouble when you've got such a little amount of money, you can't put stops down there, protect yourself. You've got to put stops there because you can't afford a stop down there. So you put there, so you'll get stopped out in this irrational noise. You get the idea. So they're more of a bloody hindrance, these emotional traders, because then they're behaving irrationally, if you know what I'm saying. And that's a major variable. It does add a bit of, put 1 or 2 gray hairs on, if you know what I mean. But even having said that, I'm saying right now, if you want to look back at all the trades you received, the ones that ended up in a profit are more than did not. So the signals were okay. So if you didn't do okay out of them, it's usually your emotion interpretation, taking your profit too quick, moving your stop loss away from entry and away from your original because you don't want to take the loss, holding on the losses forevermore, grabbing your profits too quick, and all those emotional aspects that can actually turn the winner into a small win instead of a good win and a loss instead of a win, and that sort of thing. Okay, those sort of things got to be taken into account. Okay, but finally, Etienne, anybody who say has been around a bit, been around in life, not just in this, if they're really honest and look back, most mistakes we've all made in life. Hey guys, over 21, 31, over 41, get my point. If you're honest with yourself, most mistakes you made with the opposite sex, whether you're man or woman, or life in general, it's usually made because you made an emotional decision rather than a thought out practical one. Our emotion leads our logic, and that's one of the problems. Can be good, gives us love, but it can sometimes come up and bite. So I'm not saying you can get rid of your emotions, but you can't. But take a bit of time to understand the difference between emotional thinking and rational. And then you will step back and say, oh yeah, okay, I was a bit emotional then. Get the idea. That's why I spend a lot of time on that side of it. I think part of the course should be 5 minutes of bloody basics, 95% of understand the emotional side of trading. Okay. Okay, good stuff. Right. Yeah, it's getting a bit late now. We've got a couple of calls to make, so I'll wrap it up and I'll catch you tomorrow morning. And then those who make it will do the 3 o'clock. Good stuff. Great, guys. See you there.